I've recently
here.
been reading
Got the globe to intro, that's the professional thing to do. It's like kind of mystical and everything.
Well, and it keys people in. It's sort of like a hypnosis.
Yeah.
Power suggestion.
But that's why I like.
We're thinking about big things here, guys.
We use either the star field,
right,
the luminaries, a time lapse spin of that, like on our YouTube banner. It's the time lapse spin showing how the Earth is stationary, basically, or in a mocking way, the Tesla globe ISS feed, or just a high altitude balloon photo without a curved lens.
Because this is a view from nowhere, basically.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could. Yeah. One of these really good like street graffiti artists could paint that.
Sure. It's an aesthetic image, right? There's something we humans are infatuated with curvatures and rotundity and sphericity, and it's just kind of something that's endemic to our imagination.
But the proportions of the curves that are often depicted in these either time lapse or CGI sequences are never questioned.
It's such low hanging fruit, guys.
But I hate to go off on the jag, but this stuff is everywhere, and we always have to call it out. So, but Lex Friedman, I like some of his stuff. He asked Joe a question about whether he's been contacted by the CIA. It's an obvious. It should just be a yes. You should just say yes, and then this clip would be maybe 11 seconds long.
Right.
But anyways,
I've recently been reading a lot about the KGB, about the FSB. So several things sparked my curiosity. So one, I'm traveling to Ukraine and to Moscow, and because of that, I started to sort of ask practical questions of myself, just travel and all those kinds of things. So I started reading a lot about the KGB. Jack Barsky has a book on this. I talked to him. And you start to realize, you probably looked into some of this, but you just start to realize the scale of surveillance, of manipulation. Now, a lot of them also talk about the incompetence of those organizations. The usual bureaucracy creeps in. But the point is, it seems like there's no line they're not willing to cross for the purpose of gathering intelligence, for the purpose of controlling people in order to gather intelligence. Now, this is MI6, FSB. There's not much information about the FSB or the GRU, but the KGB. So we're always like 20 years behind or more on the actual information. And so I started to wonder. So I have not officially been contacted by any intelligence agency. But I start to wonder, well, is there somebody?
Do you see his little smirk there?
Officially.
Classic Duper's delight grin there.
He said officially.
But I start to wonder, well, is there somebody I know that? But I start to wonder why. So I have not officially been contacted by any intelligence agency.
Boom.
But I start to wonder,
there.
well,
Duper's delight.
Is there somebody I know that's doing that? Undercover CIA or undercover FSB, undercover anything?
You probably do.
Have you asked yourself this question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people that have been on my podcast. Yeah, for sure.
You think there was a guest that may have been?
100%.
Oh, man.
I would imagine.
Would you know?
I would imagine he's had one on and he mentions that. But, like, why is he playing? Of course, he's
playing coy.
Am I asking? Asking the question is almost playing dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, this is another dude.
These are for people who've not really, digested the fact that, controlled op, CIA, media.
Exactly.
Media vector.
The Five Eyes, guys. Yeah.
I have suspicions.
Do you care?
Do you care? Look at that. Do you care? What do you mean? Look. Why can't you just say yes? If you asked me that question about this show, of course I would say yes.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Suspicions.
Right. Do you care?
I mean, it depends on what they're attempting to do, right? Like, if I felt like there was some deception involved and they were trying to use the podcast to manipulate a narrative in a deceptive way to trick people into things, yeah.
So Anytime you have one of those people like Mike Baker on, how can you say they're not doing that?
And this comes from the guy who 20 years apart completely contradicts himself.
Anyone who comes on that podcast is trying to spin their own narrative. The key word he uses is in a deceptive way, which basically means that he's saying every person that he's had on who might be one of these agents or is, like in the case of Mike Baker, they must not have been being deceptive.
Right, and he's able to be the intention police.
Pretty much. Yeah,
by telepathy.
He gives the Joe Rogan stamp of approval on Mike Baker. He's a good guy. He came in my studio. He wouldn't deceive you.
I would care.
But this is exactly those are the kind of things they do. They do plant narratives.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine.
No shit.
If you have the #1 podcast in the world,
I would imagine
that people would want to infiltrate that.
Yeah, there's probably meetings in all major intelligence agencies about, okay, what are the large platforms? How do we spread the message?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing that really emerged.
The intelligence agencies created the platforms in the first place. They're not be like, oh, just ex nihilo, these platforms exist, we gotta surveil them. No, they created them.
How many subscribers does what's his name?
Oh, he's got
536,000. Joe is still talking to him like that's
just
a
clip channel.
He's a small fry. Right. But like he's talking to him like he's a child.
Right.
This should be like no shit territory for Joe.
Yeah.
You have the #1 podcast in the world. You're bigger than InfoWars.
Yeah, why do you think you have the #1 podcast in the world, my man? You've been led into that. You've been pedigreed.
Yeah.
You've been groomed, my man.
So we got 9 minutes left. Let's check for any callers. We do have 3 concurrent viewers at this point on YouTube. If you guys want to call in, there's still 100 T-Fuel up for grabs as the last call in. The number is 1-855-877-5112. Would love to get your thoughts on anything we've discussed or anything you want to discuss. Xavier, were there any other topics or clips you wanted to pull up?
Let's see. Let me refer back here right quick.
Wrapping up the show, guys. Now's your chance. 100 T-Fuel. zetetic.news. Call in. 1-855-877-5112. We're the first next generation news network powered by the Theta blockchain. Okay, get it right. Hashtag proceed by inquiry. Check us out on zetetic.news. On Telegram, there's a blue button on the right of our website. You can join there, as well as you can subscribe to us, our podcasts, on all the major podcasting platforms, RSS feeds, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble, BitChute, Gab, and Theta.tv.
Oh, I guess this sort of there's a couple items here. The other one that I just wanted to highlight, I don't know if we've specifically covered this particular operative, but the nuclear waste trans kink czar within Biden's administration just goes to show that this is not these aren't people who are oppressed. This is a highly vicious egregore that it cascades through all levels of power, dude.
What? Meet the drag queen Biden just put in charge of nuclear waste.
Yeah, bro.
Holy crap. This is the new...
Nuclear waste, yeah. This I referred to sort of this figure on the last
let's play this video.
My pronouns.
There you go.
And when someone uses they and them as my pronouns, I feel like that person is listening to me. That person cares about me, and that person wants to have a conversation with me. Pronouns are a fascinating part of modern culture. I don't think many people think about them very often until someone like myself or others say their pronouns. So when I introduce myself, I generally say, "Hi, my name's Sam Britton. I use they and them as my pronouns, and I serve as head of advocacy and government affairs for the Trevor Project." I give this before I even give my job because it's the important way that you're going to describe me. Not what I do, but who I am. And that respect for my gender is really, really important. I think our culture has built itself around an idea that the faster I can learn something about you, the faster I can interact with you. We are a system of speed.
This person is head of nuclear waste now?
Yeah.
Man, the pronoun thing, like, I cannot believe people get so wrapped around the axle. The amount of resources dedicated to talking and thinking about this is so amazing to me and alarming.
It's
as alarming.
It's metastasizing.
It's as alarming to me on the ground level as it is in the thought realm regarding the sequestration of the Antarctic continent.
And that brings me to the last thing that I wanted to refer to, which is in previous episodes and several episodes, we've talked about various quote unquote nuclear options that the establishment could pull in the event of a mass disclosure, exposure, black swan cascades of events, which could be around the corner any month now. Is the movie that came out shortly after the whole COVID stuff called Greenland. It's with Gerard Butler, and what it depicts is a end of days scenario with a planet killer asteroid that comes to destroy the Earth, and there is a clip in there of them using the QR codes to designate the chosen people who will survive and be underground in the underground bases as the planet gets destroyed.
So that's a movie recommendation. Do you want me to play the trailer? We do have a call-in.
Oh.
So maybe people can check the trailer out, and we can, for the last few minutes, talk to number 705. That'd be cool with you?
Perfect.
All right. Welcome to the show, 705. Let's hear your preferred pronouns and where you're calling from and what you'd like to talk about as we wrap up the show.
It's John Galt.
John.
Pronoun.
Welcome back, bro. How's it going?
Hey. It's going good. Hey, so what I want to talk about, I'm curious, is do you guys have a way of making anonymous, like, okay, so if you were to send me 100 key fuel, I don't like the fact that we now you know my address, right? How can we basically wash it or make it more anonymous? Do you already have a solution for that?
Well, you probably have a main address that you don't want me to know, so you could create a new address where I send you that 100 T fuel, and then you send it to yourself. And well, I guess I would know that too.
Exactly.
Right? I don't know.
I've been using Simple Swap to basically wash it, but
yeah, that would work.
Yeah. You could transfer it to a slightly bigger coin, and then
swap back immediately. Pay some fees for it, but that's what you're paying for, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. I was wondering if you guys had a better solution.
But at the same time, if I trace that T fuel, it's going to show me the Simple Swap wallet, and then no. I guess it would go to another coin. If you did another coin, then I'd have to basically be a forensic.
Right. You'd have to go into the other person's coins too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I tried tracing back a T fuel, like a swap. It's almost impossible.
Oh,
like
good.
A normal person definitely can't do it.
And there you go.
Good to know. And if the normal person can't, then the IRS can't either because they're incompetent and still involved in 60s era technology.
And most people there only get paid like $16 an hour.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't have the incentive to go. Yeah.
Well, if you figure an address that you want to claim that 100 T-Fuel award, I'll definitely honor it. Let me know. You probably know how to reach out. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I really quick, you guys were talking about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I find really funny. Being a Canadian, he is probably like, it's weird to say, but like Canadians are so mayonnaise and without spines that he is the most, how do I say it? Like he has the most standards of most Canadians.
The most spines of the Canadians, but he's still spineless himself.
He's rigid compared to the average Canadian.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is saying something because he's pretty. He has some pretty floppy premises.
I know, and it's one of these things. It's like there's three distinct cultures in Canada. It's like you have a small town culture, which is like there's none of this LGBTQ bullshit. It doesn't really pervade. Like people don't really think about it.
Right.
If you bring it up to them, they won't push back against it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you have like the citizens, like high tower, like Jordan Peterson and the university people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When I went to university, I went to his university, and they are the brainwashing. Like they are the pipeline for these LGBTQ people. That's all where they come from.
Definitely. That's a huge.
And then
huge
you have
influence.
the third culture. Is the immigrant culture, which they completely ghettoize and the rest of Canada completely ignores, but they probably have the highest standards.
Interesting observations, John. I was talking earlier, not sure if you were tuning in at the time, but the disparity in awareness between my wife and her parents who live in a small river town not that far away from here. And, you know, we came in touch with it somewhat in college, but it has accelerated enormously since that time, which was in 2008. And now through libs of TikTok and other, internet reporting bureaus, let's call them, you can find really good examples of how insane it's gotten. And to witness that and then see folks who are so blissfully unaware, it's a bit scary. And that's why we want to sort of highlight some of that stuff on our shows so that maybe those types of people will at some point eventually come in contact with it. You know, we're just trying to be a force multiplier out here.
I don't think people understand how bad it's gone. Like in corporate, like my girlfriend works for a big corporation, and the things that they say in their meetings is mind-blowing. Like I can't repeat it because it would narrow down too much who she is, right? But you to say that there's libs of TikTok moments on a daily basis is an understatement.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Definitely.
Because we're down here in the retard Triangle Park in North Carolina, where the three largest universities are in kind of a tri-county area. And it's like a factory for not biological retardation. It's like self-induced retardation. And these folks all go out into their different professions, and then you have a whole class of corporate slaves who just sort of reinforce and socially ostracize anybody who doesn't conform to that university ideology that was systematized in their university experience.
And they're taught that the regurgitation thereof is a sign of their intelligence.
And also a way to climb the ladder.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Well, John...
but I think there is hope for them. Anyways.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, there are converts, right? You know, there are people who change their mind, and we don't mean to, humiliate anybody. And that's why I like libs of TikTok, because they use their own words to just evidence. I mean, how can you be mad at libs of TikTok for publishing what you publish yourself.
Slapping you in the face with your own words.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. But John, we got to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for calling in. Let us know if you figure a way you want to get that T-Fuel, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll
thanks for
reach
your
out.
participation, and be safe up there in Canada.
Thank you.
All right. With
Have a
that,
good one, boys.
yeah, take care, buddy.
Sweet. Thanks for the call.
We're going to play the Greenland trailer to close out the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Xavier, any parting words?
Just that, there's a lot of tricks up the sleeve when it comes to the hoi oligoi. Those that don't wish to be exposed, and their activities, they prefer people have no awareness of them. And one of the things that's related to this whole false cosmology that we talked about in this episode is threats that reinforce that false cosmology. And this is a classic example of that. Predictive programming. This is one of the tricks they've got up their sleeves.
The only thing people are talking about today is this Clark, this interstellar comet.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, big news.
I don't see Clark.
Oh, maybe he's still sleeping.
Dad.
some of Clark's larger fragments are now expected to enter our atmosphere.
That's right, and others are just.
What are they saying?
More of the
I
same.
bet you it's gonna make a heck of a show.
Whoa. Where are they going?
I don't know.
When the first chunk is about to hit.
Hit?
Only part of it. It's going in the ocean.
Would you look at that?
Wait, where's the explosion?
We now are getting word that the fragment has hit Central Florida.
Oh my God.
Wait, are some more pieces gonna hit?
Come on, let's go.
But the sky's on fire.
2 days. They got it all wrong. There's a ton of fragments. Planet killers.
Space agencies are predicting an extinction level event.
We're gonna be together, all right, kiddo? We're just trying to get to safety.
They've been tracking the military flights to bunkers in Greenland.
It's our only chance.
Move back! Perimeter breach. Perimeter breach. Runway 33. Drop your weapons now!
Allison! Nathan! Allison!
Where's Dad?
We'll find him. It's okay.
Clark's largest fragment will hit in less than 24 hours.
I swear, I'm gonna get my family into that bunker. I know you will, son.
If you are hearing this broadcast, seek shelter immediately.
What is it? What's going on?
If you are hearing this broadcast, seek shelter
John, go!
Seek shelter immediately.
Hang on, Nathan!
Seek shelter immediately. Seek shelter immediately.
Didn't Trump want to buy Greenland?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes. Do you recall that? And just remember that the sophisticated cloaking and holographic tech
right.
that we've got today, this could easily be
synthesized.
Yep.
With that, we'll see you guys on the next stream. Hopefully it'll be soon. Wish me a smooth delivery. I'm going to be pushing it out myself because I can have periods and I'm a zer. Love you guys. Bye.
Peace.